Deepanshu. How are you
Hello,
doing?
good morning. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good too. I'm good too. The weather is bright and sunny, so I'm really good.
Well, finally, spring has arrived.
Yeah, we can't have a conversation without actually talking about the weather. Can we in Canada?
It's impossible. I mean,
It it affects your mood. It affects everything.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, 100%. I feel like going out right now, but it's okay.
Yes. Once we are done with this, this is a
So,
very,
what are we
very
talking
important.
about today?
We are talking about something really, really important.
Really? Okay.
In the light of the recent incident where
Mm-hmm.
700 students have been deported. Um, uh,
Yeah, I heard about it. Yeah.
yes, so we cannot have any conversation without
Mm-hmm.
actually addressing the elephant in the room, which is the Canadian dream, and how for many students it
Hmm.
is the Canadian dream that brings them here with a study permit. And
Hmm.
when that comes crashing down, what happens, and why does it
Absolutely.
come crashing down? Is it a mistake from their end, or is it something that the Canadian or the visa authorities should be warning them? uh, where does the buck stop? That is what we are going to really address today. Talk
Okay.
about a general perspective,
Mm-hmm.
something that might help students who are looking at our video and perhaps getting 2 cents from us.
Absolutely, absolutely, Indrani. Um, I wouldn't say where does the buck stop, but then again, rather it starts from students. It starts with their own due diligence. It starts with the fact that they themselves are smart enough to do their research. Because if you are smart enough, if you're well informed, if we as a society are able to, we as a society, as a community, we are able to give them that resource, then they really need not depend on um, people who are out there to make fool of them. I mean, there's just the incident that you told. 700
Absolutely.
students, 700 students reported. Do you know where things go wrong?
Can
All
I
this while
ask you?
these,
Can I ask you?
yeah.
For people who are listening to us,
Hmm.
let's first talk about the incident. What
Sure,
incident are we
absolutely.
talking about? Can you
So
give us a little clarity?
100%, 100%. Just to just to give you context, these students, they came here.
From India?
They came here from India, and the majority of them, they were from our Punjab region. And these students, when they arrived here, first they were given an admission letter through an agent, right? And from what I've read in the news, the agent was somebody by the name of Brijesh Mishra. But then again,
Yes.
probably it's a fake name again,
Yes.
right? So they were given a admissions letter from a well-renowned college. Once they arrived here, they were informed that their admission has got cancelled.
Yes.
Now, in order, and just imagine you are just landing here in Canada, probably less than 24 hours, and you are getting to know that your admission has got cancelled. So imagine, I can just imagine the panic it would have set up for these students. And then the agent apparently got them admission into another lesser known college. Okay. Further, some of them, these students now, they kind of knew that it was not a well-renowned college or it wasn't a good college, but then again, in the interest that, oh, we have spent this much money, or the pressure which all comes along with it, they just went ahead with it. And funny thing is, the Canadian embassy, they also gave them the visa.
That is something that's really
They gave them the
weird,
visa,
you
they gave
know?
them the work permit also. They gave them the work permit.
Yeah.
And but then again, the real axe fell when they, now after after working for 2 years on work permit, they can apply for the permanent residency. When they started to apply for the permanent residency, that's where the real axe fell. That's when the Canadian government said that, oh, you know what, this is fake. You guys went to fake university, so hence we are going to deport you now. Now just imagine, these students, they spent at least 1 year or 2 years as a student, then they have worked they have done their hard work, saved their money and all, just for this, so that they could get PR, get into the Canadian dream, just to get to know that they're going to be deported. I mean, that's cruel.
Terrible. That's terrible. That's harassment. And going by the numbers, Canada welcomes a record-breaking, 550,000 international students.
Yep.
And data released by Immigration, Refugees, and Citizen Canada, which is
Mm-hmm.
IRCC,
Yeah.
it
Okay.
shows a record number of international students being welcomed in Canada last year. Especially from 184 countries to study across Canada.
Absolutely. I mean, if I'm not wrong, Rani, in 2021, this number was more than 600 plus, and this year itself, I think it has gone beyond 800,000 plus.
Imagine.
Can you imagine? Yeah.
Imagine. And 1.83 lakh Indian students came
Wow.
in to pursue various degrees. Yeah.
My goodness.
Imagine. So that's Canada is a major destination for studying.
100%.
It's second to US now. A huge number of students are coming in here because Canada is giving out work permits after your completion of the study. Then you have a chance to become a PR. So there are dreams, and for
Mhm.
perhaps for the lack of research, or for the lack of resources, I do not know exactly what to pinpoint, but because of some glitch, your
Mhm.
dreams come shattering. And
Absolutely.
to pursue that dream, you need so much of financial assistance, and especially from a country like ours, people gather that money to kind of send this child abroad to study, pursue a degree. It takes so much of money and courage and effort, and when that comes crashing down because of a situation like this, you don't know who to blame. So are there red flags that one should be seeing when you are thinking of studying abroad?
Sure. So I'll probably start. I mean, all of this thing, it's a huge piece of information. So I'll probably break it down into certain aspects in terms of the resources, um, the general pitfalls that the students they should avoid. And believe me, all these resources are pretty much there, and they have been provided extensively, not only by the government of Canada, but even by government of India as well. Just to give this as a perspective, um, just a few weeks back, I was listening to one of the news podcasts, and the High Commissioner of India, Shri Sanjay Verma ji, he was there on news, and even he was discussing the same thing, and he told that he just basically pointed out to the resource that, go to the Consulate General of India's website, and we have shared a list of the designated colleges. So guess what? I explored that. So one of the first thing that any student who wishes to avoid this pitfall is, please go to the IRCC's website, which has prepared a designated learning institutions list, or short form is the DLI list. Just go there and have a look at which are those genuine colleges which are there. So you can just go to the website. It is divided as per the provinces and territories and so on and so forth. It's a pretty self-explanatory thing. And so that is the first place you should go to know which colleges are genuine first. Second thing is, now, the since we do know that the majority of the students, they always land up here in Ontario, right? Sure, you have very great colleges. I'm not even talking about universities right now. You have great colleges out here in Ontario and other provinces, but the majority, it is densely populated out here in Ontario. So please go to the ontariocolleges.ca, where you will have the resources on not only just to see which colleges are there, but also to to see which courses you can apply, how much it would cost, and the steps that a student needs to take to apply. That includes the documentation and everything. So again, this completely negates the requirement of having an agent. Now, I believe in my previous videos also, where we have talked about students, we have always mentioned that always don't need an agent. You can do it yourself. Students are smart enough to uh, uh, you know do their research. So again, through this thing, I wish to provide these resources. So these are your for students, these are the two main resources. Now, as far as the red flag is concerned, Indrani, we must understand what is the ultimate goal for these students, right? So they are coming here as a student. They want to apply for work permit, and that is again if they wish to stay back here in Canada, right? And again, it happens that yes, they have studied, they want to stay, they have got a good lifestyle here. So study, get a work permit, get your permanent residency, and find your citizenship. So those are the steps. Now the now each of these steps, they have their own requirement, and the preliminary requirement being once you complete your study, you need to work for at least 1 or 2 years on work permit to get your permanent residency. In order to get a work permit, you need to have at least completed a 1 year's program. Okay. So now that being said, um, please avoid any short-term courses. That's what I would say. Anything which is less than 1 year, you might get courses for 8 months or 6 months there. So please avoid that, right? As far as a red flag is concerned, there might be agents who cannot provide your ICCRC number or a provincial law association. So if at all you students think that they cannot do it, so please at least ask for that number. And you can always verify that number against the ICCRC's website or IRCC's website as well. There might be agents who may come up and say that, hey, you know what, we'll successfully guarantee you the visa, we'll get you the permanent residency. Now, in order to back the student, they will promise even the moon as well, but that's not the reality. So nobody can guarantee the success of getting a visa. So
Yes.
please avoid that. And the major red flag is whenever these agents, they ask for a huge sum of money upright. And guess what, Rani? I've met with so many students out here who say that, oh, we have, the agent first asked us for just 25,000 rupees. And they said, we'll get the job done. But later on, as the work started progressing, they're like, oh, you need to pay 1 lakh rupees. Just imagine, from 25,000 to 1 lakh rupees. Just look
Yeah.
at the hyperbole, right?
So that's how first they get the students in, win their
Yeah.
confidence, and the moment that the student has started to rely on them,
Yeah.
and they start actually dreaming about getting that visa, that's
Yeah.
when they know that it's halfway through and we can ask for more money, and they will perhaps not escape.
Some of them are even notorious enough to ask for they say that, oh, you know what, okay, please give us your passport, we'll get everything done.
Yeah.
And once the students, they realize that things are not progressing and things have gone south, so they go back to the office of the agent, and turns out that either the agent has vanished in thin air along with their passports, or they will say, you know what, pay us this much money and then only we'll give you the passport.
Yeah, they do get into these kind of twisting
Arm twisting, yeah.
aspects. Yeah. So are there courses that one should avoid?
I I really wouldn't put it as courses that should be avoided, but then, like I mentioned, the students, they need to do their due diligence, um, so that they can avoid the pitfalls, so that nobody can make a fool of them. Again, please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that the students are foolish, but then yes, there are much smarter people out there who are just ready to con them.
Mm.
And again, students are coming here to study. and not to get conned. But then again, the world as it is, they need to be smart enough. And so having said this, so please do your due diligence. First is, as I was telling earlier, with respect to short-term courses, please do not go for short-term courses which are less than 1 year. It doesn't matter uh, how good of a course that might be. Just to give you a context, um, data science is a very hot topic these days, right? So when I was researching for a data science course, I saw there is a, for an international student, by the way, it is there for $17,000. So for thought I like, okay, it might be, for 1 year program. When I dug up further and I called up the college, turns out it was just a 24-week program for data science for
Right.
17,000 Canadian dollars only. Okay. So again, why I told this that do not go for less than 1 year, because it's a basic requirement for the work permit. You need to at least have a 1 year's degree, diploma, to be eligible for the Canadian work permit.
Yes.
Now, very commonly we would have heard about the regulated courses. Again, please by no means do not avoid it, because again, in regulated courses you have engineering, medical sciences, nursing, health practitioners, um, chartered accountant professionals, right, finance professionals. So now what do I mean by regulated and doing due diligence? What it means is, once you do these programs or related to these professions, you will have to get a certification or a license to practice them further. For, say, for example, for engineering, it might be, say it's a bachelor's degree program. You complete 4 years of engineering here in Canada. And after that, to be called out as an engineer and to practice engineering per se, you have to get a PhD. Similarly, for being a doctor, yes, you have to get a license to practice it. Similarly, for health practitioners also, you need to get a license. And again, it's a bit time-consuming process. Reason being, Ontario will have its own PNs. Tomorrow, say for example, you get a job in an oil and gas sector in Alberta. Again, you cannot practice with the Ontario's PNs. You have to go and get it from Alberta's PNs equivalency. So again, the due diligence needs to be done with respect to the job market and the location as well. So hence the reason. So if you're stepping into these regulated courses, please research about it, and research in terms of timeline as well, that how much time you are going to spend to get to the job that you want to do, right? Next being English as a second language. Now, I did not know that this was a course as well. When I landed here, um, English as a second language, it's just a basic course where any new immigrant or these students, they are put through the paces for, okay, how you will make your resume, how you are supposed to communicate, uh, how you will give your 30 seconds elevator pitch. Now, but then again, this course, it can be as long as, say for example, for few weeks to 1 year, right? So again, this will not lead to a degree. This is just a certification which you are getting. Last but not the least, courses for hospitality and tourism or things like philosophy, which does not necessarily convert into a job. Now, again, because of COVID pandemic, the tourism industry was hit. We all know that. But then again, you get these courses like, say, for example, aesthetician, which are where you might do a program. It might be on a 2 years diploma for all you care, but then again, you might have to set up your own establishment for that, right? So please do your research in terms of what is a job perspective. So those are my 2 cents, Indrani.
Thank you so much, Sitanshu. This was really valuable. I think, the overarching thing is that, one has to put in those hours for research in order
100%.
to be completely satisfied that you're not falling for a trap.
Right.
And to be aware that you are going for a certain course which is recognized. You are putting in this much money, this much time and effort to get that study permit, and which will convert into a work permit and thereafter a PR and a citizenship. So
100%.
completely, I think the onus lies on you. And as I said when I began, that where does the buck stop? I think the buck begins and ends with you. So it is you
Absolutely.
who has to kind of put in those hours for research.
Absolutely. And again, you know what? I would also welcome students. If they're not very sure, then I would also welcome them to connect with us.
Yes,
At
absolutely.
um, we leave our contact details and the ways to connect with us. And please reach out. If you're not sure, please do reach out.
You are a recent graduate. You can definitely give them the direction that they need. So if
I would be
anybody
happy
who
to.
requires that kind of tips, tricks, feedback, anything, please reach out. Thank you so much,
100%.
Sitanshu. Have a good
Thank you,
day.
Indrani.
Yeah.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.